Yo guys, what is up? Moxsy here. Sorry, I'm being a little quiet right now. It's like 2 a.m. here. I can't stop playing this Moze build. We've cleared the takedown with it. We've cleared M4 Slaughter Shaft with it. Bossing, mobbing. There really isn't anything this build can't do, and it does it really, really fast. This is going for you Moze players that were looking for a Moze build that could do it all and put her back on the charts as one of the best characters. This is the build for you. I'm like honestly blown away. I didn't think that it would be this good, and I just hope you guys enjoy the video. If you do, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, let's get right into it.
Has come, it's cold and losing my control. Your light is gone, and lonely darkness fill my soul. I wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's stop this conversation. Let's stop this conversation. We got no relation. It's crazy.
Are you kidding me, dude?
Has come, it's cold and losing my control. Your light is gone, alone the darkness fill my soul. I wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's stop this conversation. Let's stop this conversation. We got no relation. It's crazy.
Y'all ever fight Graveward with Gibbsworth? Just gonna let you know right now, it's not easy. But watch this. This was Mayhem 4, no bonus modifiers with a Gibbsworth. Yo guys, what is up? Moxsy here with another Borderlands 3 video, and today I am so happy to be bringing you my Moze build, my very first one. You guys have been asking me to do Moze. You guys have been wanting to see what I could do with her, and today I'm happy to deliver that. This is the Fire Hose Moze build. It is an absolutely insane build. It clears... The craziest thing to me about this build is that it clears Takedown, M4 True Valhalla mode, Takedown, Grave Ward, Slaughter Shaft, or whatever content you want to do with this build without ever changing a single piece of gear or skill. You don't have to respec between things. You don't have to swap anything out. It's absolutely insane that this build can do that, because other characters cannot, or other builds cannot. This does it all, man. Before we get into the video, I just want to give a quick shout out to a guy named Shadowhilt in my Discord. I am newer to Moze, and he helped me understand some of the synergies going on with this build, and gave me some advice when making this build. So absolute shout out to him. He helped me a lot with this. And with that, let's get right into the build. So I did take, or let's take my comm off. We are using a Blastmaster comm. If you guys don't know what the Blastmaster does, Blastmaster is going to give Moze more splash damage the longer she goes without reloading. And there's a few essential things to this build. Now, this isn't essential, but it's really nice to have a +1 into redistribution. +1 to redistribution is going to give us 10% ammo regeneration of our magazine every 3 seconds with 2 out of 1 points in here. Now, you guys may have noticed that I had terror on during the intro clips. I just want to make one thing really clear. This is not a terror build. This is nothing to do with terror. We're not relying on terror. The terror anointment that I had on was while terrified, gain increased damage and fire rate. This is like 15% increased damage. It's really small. Doesn't make a difference. I just didn't have a different shield with a better anointment. So that's what we had on. But at the end, once we cover the guns and the weapons, I'll go over what anointments you should be looking out for. So just want to clear that up because I know people don't like terror. Not a terror build. Relax. Alright, so we're going into Fire in the Skag Den, which is... This build is relying on splash damage. Splash damage is going to be our damage source and our healing source. So Fire in the Skag Den is great for us because we're going to be constantly doing splash damage. Now, our anointments that we're going to be looking out for are on action skill and splash damage is increased by 125% for a short time. So we're going to want to be able to upkeep that as much as we possibly can just for the most damage. So we're going Grizzled to get our action skill cooldown back. Now when you're using this and with the Kibsworth, your action skill will be recharging like crazy fast, which is super, super nice to have. Next, we're going Means of Destruction. This is a great skill because whenever we're doing splash damage, there's a chance to add ammo to our currently equipped magazine. This, along with redistribution, is going to give us all the ammo regen that we could possibly need, which is super nice because the longer that we're shooting, the more splash damage we're going to do. So it's pretty important to not run out of shots or just keep shooting. Next, we're going Pull the Holy Pin with Vampire. You guys, if you played Moze, you know this combo well. It is crazy, and the grenade that we're running for this is the best grenade, in my opinion, that you could possibly use for this. We'll get into the grenade in a second, but we're doing Pull the Holy Pin, which is going to give our grenades a chance to crit. This Pull the Holy Pin crit is going to be able to proc redistribution, which is going to allow us to regenerate ammo by throwing grenades into our currently equipped gun, which is crazy. And then Vampire, we're going to be doing so much damage with these grenades that this is basically our only source of healing. Vampire and our Relic are only things that are keeping us alive, but we're doing so much splash damage and grenade damage that we don't die. We can face tank Wotan, we can face tank anything you'd like. It's crazy, and we're not using level 1 shield. We're not using any like exploity thing like that. We're just using a normal level 50 shield, just chucking grenades that'll keep us alive, which is awesome. So with that, let's talk about this grenade. So this is the bouncy cluster effing tracker. Now, this prefix is random, but what you're going to be looking for is a tracker grenade, purple tracker grenade, and you're going to be looking for homing and Merv are the most important things. Now, this grenade that I'm using is Merv and Mini Merv, bouncy and homing, which is ridiculous. But these grenades work so great because they spawn so many additional bonus grenades, and these grenades are a source of healing and our splash damage that's going to keep our weapons constantly firing, and all of our cooldowns really short. These grenades are currently the best grenades for Moze because they just do so much splash damage and there's so much happening that they are able to keep us alive and do a ton of damage. Let's just go check one for you guys. Let's go check a few just to show you what happens if you missed what these grenades do. Now, the best place to farm these grenades is the vendor by Earl's or something like Slaughter Shaft. So let's just show you what these grenades do. That is why these grenades are the best in the game currently for Moze, in my opinion. What's happening right now to these enemies is ridiculous. That we're killing enemies on Mayhem 4 with these grenades. We never run out of grenades. They'll keep us alive. They'll keep our gun with ammo. They're nuts. And I would say of the gear that is needed for this build, this is the only thing that you need to do well. Is a purple grenade. That is the at the core of this build. This is what'll make this build the best. It's a purple grenade. I know you can't dedicated farm for this, but you guys should be able to find one. Next, we're talking auto barrier. Auto barrier we're using with the Vanquisher rocket pod and target softening. Now, while auto barrier is out and doing splash damage, he can heal us, which is really nice. But also, target softening is great because enemies are going to take 15% additional damage. When we hop into auto bear, or when we hop into iron bear, we're going to shoot off our Vanquisher rocket pods, hit them with target softening, and then jump out with our anointments and our grenades and guns blazing and just blow up everything possible. And then we're going to be doing so much splash damage that we're going to get auto bear or iron bear back immediately. To the last is nice here because when we go down, if we go down, you will be able to throw your grenades, and as you can see, those grenades are crazy, so this is really nice to have. It's really hard to die with this because even when you do go down, you could chuck your grenades like crazy. Now, I want to say one thing about this build. The playstyle that you need to adopt to use this build is you need to stay at a medium distance from enemies. Medium distance is your best friend. You're going to be doing so much splash damage, and your grenades are going to be doing so much damage that if an enemy gets right up in your face and you start shooting them, you will die from your own splash damage. That is the only thing so far that's killing me while using this build is myself. So just an FYI, be careful of that because you can blow yourself up if you're not careful. More grenades because our grenades are super important here. And then short fuse, we're going to deal secondary explosion damage, which gives us even more explosive damage, which is super helpful to this build because it is a splash damage build. Next, we're getting armored infantry. While our shields are active, we're going to get damage reduction and increased gun damage. Now, our shields are up a decent amount of time, but we're not using a bloodletter class mod, so our shields up aren't that much. What is more important here is we're just trying to get down to drowning in brass, which is great because we're going to get increased gun damage. This gun damage is really, really nice. And then we're getting experimental munitions because the bonus damage is also really nice here. And for the most part, we are using a Kibsworth here. Now, I like the Kibsworth with fire. I have cryo on mine. I would have preferred if it was fire and corrosive, and I would have preferred if it was a ×3, but this is what dropped for me. This gun did drop for me. Some of this other gear was gifted, but this gun was a drop for me. And then next we're going Cloud of Lead for more ammo sustain because it won't consume ammo, and bonus incendiary damage. We're pumping out a ton of incendiary damage with the Kibsworth. Stoke the Embers for more incendiary damage. This is going to boost incendiary damage with experimental munitions and fire in the Skag Den, which is really nice synergy there. Redistribution, as I covered, is great ammo regen skill for her, and this in conjunction with Means of Destruction is going to allow us to sustain our very fast fire rate, and we just put 1 point into Scrappy to get down to scorching RPMs with more fire rate and more critical hit damage. These last 2 points you can kind of go anywhere with, but this is what I decided to put them into. Let's talk about gear and anointments next. So I've played around with a bunch of different shields for this. The Big Boom Blaster is a great option. The Stopgap is a great option. The Backham is a great option. You can't really go wrong with all three of these shields, and I'll explain what I use them for. So the Big Boom Blaster is nice because it will basically guarantee that there's no possible way that we could run out of grenades, because we're dropping shield, grenade, and heavy ammo. Now, I wanted to make this build not reliant on Meteors, not reliant on rocket launchers, not reliant on the Bloodletter, not reliant on anything that's basically classic to a lot of Moze builds. So the Big Boom Blaster is nice if you want to pick up a rocket launcher. I will include some good rocket launchers in the save files. Once again, I'm dropping the save file for you guys because in my mind, some of the gear was gifted to me, and if I don't have to work my ass off to get the gear, then I don't think you guys should have to either. If you want to just have fun in this game, I will provide that save file for you. So if you appreciate that, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Xbox and PS4 players, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about that. Hopefully we get cross-platform play soon. So with that, we've got the Big Boom Blaster, the Stopgap, and the Backham. Big Boom Blaster is nice if you want to sustain your grenades, but you don't really need it. There is a chance to run out without using it, though. But you regen grenades like crazy, so it isn't that big of a deal. It isn't as tanky as a Stopgap or a Backham. Our shields aren't up that much of the time. A lot of times we're just health tanking enemies. And the Backham is going to give us damage reduction of 56% from behind, which is nice to have on a shield. It's just free damage reduction. The Stopgap also works nicely because it gives us immunity. This one that I have that I really like drops fortified charges that give damage reduction. Basically, we're using our shield as a... If we're not using it for extra grenades, we're going to be using it as a way to try to stay alive, and damage reduction on a Stopgap, damage reduction on a Backham is super nice to have. Next, we'll move on to our Relic. This is the Relic that I've used for everything. The Last Stand Auto Idol, it's going to give us invulnerability when our health drops below 50%. This build drops health and regains it like crazy. Your bar will be bouncing really back, so this is nice to have, absolutely nice to have. And then the Auto Idol is going to give us max health after killing an enemy. We shred through enemies, and this grenade with our skill points is all we need to become invincible. Now I've got some amazing rolls on this: grenade damage, magazine size, and area of effect damage. These would be pretty much exactly what you're looking for. And then we have our Blastmaster comm. The Blastmaster has splash damage, weapon damage, and grenade damage on it, which are really, really nice. But we're looking for these distributions of skills, especially the +1 into redistribution, and then the bonus points into Pull the Holy Pin and Vampire. Lastly, let's talk about anointments and weapons to use for this build. So the Kibsworth is the weapon that I've was featuring in almost all these clips. Pretty sure it was the only weapon I showed. The Kibsworth is amazing with this build because its magazine size is solid. It has great fire rate. It's shooting 2 projectiles. You can get a ×3 Kibsworth, which would make this even more insane. I'll be on the lookout for them. And the Anointment we're looking for is on action skill and splash damage is increased by 125% for a short time. Weapons that do splash damage here are your best friends, and weapons that do splash damage with high fire rates and high magazine size are even better. Another amazing weapon. I didn't have this. I wasn't using this Kibsworth when I soloed the M4 takedown. I actually used Juliet's Dazzle for the whole thing. This with the splash damage bonus on it that I used for cryo absolutely tore through the takedown. This weapon is another great choice for this build. The Ogre is nice as well. It does a little bit less damage. It's not the hardest hitting weapon, but it works. And something like a Laser Sploder also works. But this is about the hierarchy that I'd rank him in. The Kibsworth is so far the best weapon that I've used on this. Now there are other weapons that you can use. Basically any weapon that does splash damage is going to be really nice for this build. The Alchemist is nice. You can use recursions. Recursions do splash damage, but I didn't want to make a recursion build. Flacker, takes boom. Basically anything that you could do a lot of splash damage with is going to be great here, but of all of the weapons I tried out, and I've tried out a lot, the Kibsworth is the best. Now I know that you can use like a quickie to basically blow up Graveward. I'll be including that in the save, but I wanted to show off killing Graveward with the Kibsworth because that's crazy to me. And everything here will be included in the save for you guys, so I hope you appreciate that. This build is absolutely nuts and so much fun to use. I am really looking forward to working on more Moze builds and bringing some more variety to her that I feel like she desperately needs. But that is it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you think this build's cool because I think it's freaking amazing. As you can see, we literally just demolish everything. It has faster clear speeds than pretty much everything except for Ricochet Witch. I think Ricochet Witch might be a little bit faster. But that's like a super crazy build on Amara, and this build is like right up there with it. So have a good one, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!